Robo-Buddies. So I want to talk to you guys about a book that I read recently called Matched by Ali Condi. Now, be aware, if you go to the library to get this book like I did, her last name might actually be different. Some places refer to her as Alison Braithwaite Condi, or Ali Condi, or Alison Braithwaite, or Ali Braithwaite, so there might be any sort of combination of that name when you search for this book. Basically, this book is about this girl named Cassia, and she lives in this seemingly perfect society. They've determined the best age to die is age 80, because at that age you've lived a full life, yet your body isn't deteriorating enough to the point where depression or dementia or things like that start setting in. So what they do is they actually poison the food so that every single person in this society dies at age 80. And the main thing that this society really takes pride in itself for are their marriages. They have discovered this combination for how to have the perfect couple. Your genes and your DNA and your interests and your personality and your looks are compared to the other people within this entire area, and the government decides which person you would be best suited for. So our main character, Cassia, turns, I believe it's 17, and when she turns this age, she is invited to go to her matching ceremony, where she will discover who she's going to marry. And her best friend Xander is also called to go to this matching ceremony. Basically, with this matching ceremony, when you turn 17, you are called to go to one of these ceremonies at some point within the year of your 17th birthday. It's not everyone goes to the same matching ceremony. You go in your specific province area, city that you live in, and a lot of it is projected onto this big huge TV screen, so you can see the person that you're matched with when your name is called. Whenever it's her turn to be matched, she stands up and she looks on the gigantic screen to see who is her match, because it's most likely from another area, he's not there. But then it turns out that he is. And it turns out that the person that she's matched with, that she will be married to, is her best friend, Xander. And she is so incredibly excited because she's known Xander ever since she was a little kid. They're best friends, they get along great, and it's very, very rare that you are matched to a person that you actually know. But whenever she goes home and she views the video of this matching ceremony, whenever Xander's name is called, his picture shows up and she's so excited. She's like, that's the person I'm going to marry. But then his picture fades and another guy's picture pops up. And this other person's picture who pops up is also a person that she knows named Kai. And Kai is actually a friend of hers since she was 10. He kind of hangs out in the same group of friends that she hangs out in. And after she sees his face on this video thing, she starts to doubt, is Xander really the person that I want to marry? Would I rather marry Kai instead? But Cassia's grandfather, who she's super duper close to, actually dies a couple days after her matching ceremony. So her grandfather is on his deathbed and he calls Cassia over to him and asks to see this compact that was given to her by, I believe, her great-grandmother. And whenever he looks at this compact, he opens it and she's surprised because she never knew it opened before. And on the inside is a piece of paper with a poem on it. And this is a big deal because in this society, you are only allowed to have 100 poems, 100 stories, 100 movies, 100 songs, 100 things that happened in history, 100 of everything. Because they believe that if you have more than 100, it will become overcrowded and you won't be able to appreciate everything as well for what it's truly worth. Because you just don't even know where to begin. And so this society has 100 poems, and this poem that the grandfather is reading isn't part of the 100 poems. Cassia doesn't know this is a poem yet, and she's kind of confused about why this is making Grandpa really, really emotional. But after he dies, a couple of days later, she begins this hiking activity, which Kai actually is signed up for too, but I'll get to that in a second. But with this hiking activity, she actually sneaks off and she reads what was inside of this compact, and she reads this poem, and it was by Dylan Thomas, and it's called Do Not Go Gentle, and it is a phenomenal poem. You have to hear it read by Dylan Thomas himself. If I find a link for it on YouTube, I'll put it right here. But basically this poem talks about do not go gentle into that good night and rage against the dawning of the light, or coming of the light, something like that. But it's a beautiful poem that summarizes the theme of this book, that this society isn't so perfect as it seems, and instead of being complacent and agreeing to everything it tells you to do, we need to fight, we need to rage against it, we need to have our lives back, have control of our lives, because even though it seems perfect, they are taking away the perfection and just numbing everyone to how truly wonderful and beautiful life is and appreciation for all of this beauty. And so when Cassia reads this poem, she discovers these feelings surging up inside of her that she wants to fight against this. She wants to, you know, have life and live her life her own way. While she's doing this hiking activity, she gets to know Kai a little bit better, and she discovers that he can write in cursive and she can't write cursive. So in turn, they bond a little bit and they hike together, and he teaches her cursive and she teaches him about this poem, and he gives her napkins with his story on them. Kai's story is actually pretty interesting. He moved in with his aunt and uncle after his parents died. No one really knows how his parents died, but they know that his aunt and uncle actually had a son who was murdered, which is very, very, very rare to happen in this society. But Kai moves in with them, and he's kind of a mysterious kind of kid. He actually is an aberration. I believe that's how you pronounce it. And basically an aberration, you can get this status either when you do something bad against the government or when your parents do something bad against the government. And he is an aberration because his dad did something bad against the government. And so when you're an aberration, you usually get really, really low work placements, and you're not allowed to be entered into the matching pool, so you have to remain single. And so Cassie is really confused because she's not allowed to marry Kai, but she finds herself falling for Kai. Yet Xander is her best friend, who she would ideally like to marry, but she's finding out that he's not exactly what she wants. The language in this book, I can't even wrap my mind around it, and Kai's story about what happened to his parents is just beautiful, and Cassia, just fighting against the government and realizing that everything isn't so perfect as it seems. You know, think about it for your own life. Would you like life to be perfect? You know, initially you might say, well, duh, I want my life to be perfect. I want the perfect spouse. I want the perfect job. I want the perfect life. However, as Cassia discovers in this book, perfect isn't so wonderful. You know, sometimes you have to go through the trials, you have to go through the valleys, you have to go through the darkness in order to enjoy the mountaintops and the highs and the amazing experiences that come from enduring those suffering times, you know? And so Cassia wants to endure the pain and the conflict of going against the society in order to really enjoy and embrace what life is supposed to be all about. I mean, the inside cover says that she has to choose between perfection and passion. You know, Xander is the perfection that she has always longed for, that the society has always promised. But as Cassia goes through the society and discovers how imperfect it actually is, she starts to wonder, is Xander really my perfect match if the society has so many flaws? You know, and then there's Kai, who she discovers this new energy and excitement about life with. You know, she learns things from him and she enjoys life more and appreciates life more, but she isn't allowed to marry Kai. What about you guys? Who do you think you would choose, Xander or Kai? And also let me know if you've read this book and what you thought about it. Don't let me know about the next two books yet. It's Crossed and something else. Don't let me know about those, because I haven't read them. But I believe that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you soon. Ciao. Book that I read called Matched by Ellie. What? What was that? I did. Beware that, beware. Okay, I'm going to talk to you guys about a book called Matched. Okay.